district representative, state representative, United States Senate, we have to have like-minded individuals in every seat of our government and take the United States government back. There is no doubt in my mind that we are all on the verge of a huge change in America, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the verge of something very exciting in our time. We do have the opportunity to create the America that we want, to mold the America that we need, and to know that we did our part to make America the best it could be and the greatest country on earth again. Started off with my little girl, my 3.5-year-old Phoenix Rain, over here waving the flag just like everybody else in this room does. I want to thank my wife. Come on over here, baby. Christine Wells, LMT. She's a licensed massage therapist. We've got a place right around the corner on First Capitol, and she is my rock. She's also my hard place. So in other words, she's everything to me, and I wouldn't be anywhere without this young lady. We've been together for over a decade. We've been married going on 6 years in September, and thank you for being by my side through everything that we've been through, and this is a whole new adventure. So let's hear it for my wife first. And at this time, I'm going to step around here. I would like to invite our first speaker, Bob Pashos, to the front and center. So if you could come on up, Bob.
Thank you, Curtis. When I think of where we are right now, I can't help but think of my mom. She had a shop here many years ago when she was still on this earth. A shop called Nostalgia Boutique. She was written up by the Post-Dispatch as being the grandmother of the vintage clothing business in St. Louis. Some of you may have been in her shop, perhaps even. Anyway, it feels kind of at home to be here, and it's good to be in St. Charles area and to get some of you folks out and get to know some of you folks. My sign that I have with me, if some of you haven't seen it yet, it is regarding the whole climate change issue. As you know, that's been an issue that has been very high on the list for Bernie Sanders in his campaign and the proposals that he has. I went up to Chicago a couple summers ago and took the 3-day training, very intensive training with Al Gore's group called Climate Reality because of my belief that climate change is such an urgent issue. And I was so glad to see that Bernie Sanders is very strong in that issue. As a matter of fact, he's the strongest candidate out there, probably, at least the strongest candidate that has any chance of being elected. The Green Party, of course, is very strong too. Because of my concern about climate change, that's one of the many reasons that I'm here with you guys, that I'm marching. One of the many reasons that I went up to Iowa the 6 times that I did to help with the caucusing.
Thank you.
One of the many reasons. It was so good to be up there with so many other people from St. Louis area who were generously donating their time and their efforts to, whether out in the cold or whatever, driving the 300 miles to get there. I have a bumper sticker on my car, along with my regular bumper sticker for Bernie, that says, Christians for Bernie Sanders. I know for many progressives, for many of us, and I include that for myself too, for many of us on the left, so to speak, many supporters of Bernie Sanders, there are oftentimes some very legitimate criticisms of what we see in some of the Christian community. Some of the Christian community that we would normally think of as on the far right. I believe many of those concerns, many of those criticisms are very justified, and there needs to be people speaking out when we see the Christian name, in effect, dragged through the mud even, as it has been so many times by that far-right Christian sect. I'm glad to see that there's a much larger group of people among the Christian community and a larger and growing group of people among the Muslim community and a growing group of people among the Jewish community and groups of people among all faiths that see in Bernie Sanders someone who speaks to them, someone who represents so many of the concerns that we see in the various scriptures that are a part of the faiths that we embrace, as well as a part of the ethics that we embrace, even if we do not necessarily embrace a faith. So for me, my Christian faith is one more reason why I do support so passionately Bernie Sanders. And lastly, I just wanted to share briefly the fact that, after being up in Iowa so many times and really believing that that was a very important thing to do, as it was, I'm so glad that even though Bernie didn't actually officially win, as we would have loved to have seen happen, for him to do what he did, for him to have a virtual tie, as he shared, against someone like Hillary Clinton and the machine that she has with her campaign, is a tremendous accomplishment still. But now, to know that we can focus our efforts, focus our time on our own home states, to me that's exciting. I'm very glad to think that the canvassing is starting here, in this area, in St. Louis area, this weekend. There are people that are already out there probably right now, and perhaps some of you are planning to go out and join them after this rally is over. Yes, Mike will be telling more about that, as a matter of fact. But I just wanted to zero in on the fact that I'm very happy that, as good as it was to go up to Iowa, I'm really excited about now being able to bring the word and the message of the Bernie Sanders campaign that we so much believe in into our own stomping grounds. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob. To kind of bottle up what you said, voting for a Jewish socialist is literally the Christian thing to do. Our next speaker is a man who has been very active in the local community for Bernie Sanders and doing everything he can do on the St. Louis side. From St. Louis for Bernie, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Dorward!
Thank you everybody for coming out. This is incredible. Who would have thought St. Charles would have such a passionate Bernie supporter base, but I think we all can do it. I actually am here representing St. Louis for Bernie Sanders, but I myself live in St. Charles, so it's kind of nice not to have to drive very far for something for once. But who here witnessed Bernie Sanders' victory in New Hampshire? He won by 22 points. That's huge. And during his victory speech, ActBlue, the website that handles all of his contributions, received 26,000 contributions in a matter of 15 minutes. And broke the website. So, that's huge. He broke the internet, he did. They tried to break the internet, and they succeeded. Kim Kardashian's done it before. Bernie Sanders did it a little bit better. So, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I want you all to tell me how you feel about them. Who here thinks education is a human right? Who here thinks healthcare is a human right? Who here thinks criminal justice reform needs to take place? Who here thinks that they have the right to a decent paying job? So do I. But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter if you don't get involved. It doesn't matter if Bernie Sanders gets elected to the presidency. It would make it a lot easier if he does. But the fact of the matter remains the same, that if you don't get involved, if you don't vote up and down the ballot, if you don't canvass, if you don't phone bank, if you do not contribute in some way to the democratic process, none of those things will happen, whether he is the president or not. And I cannot stress this enough. You guys came out to this, so you clearly are passionate. But it will take more than this room here to accomplish education as a human right, criminal justice reform, healthcare as a human right. None of those things will happen, period. Now, it's good to feel good, and we've done something very cool here today, so give it up for yourselves. A promise from each and every single one of you that you will contribute beyond today, beyond March 15th, beyond November, that you will continue to stay involved in local politics. Can I get a commitment from you guys on that?
Yeah!
Good. We're all on the same page. So, now I have stuff for you guys to do. So we just opened up our office on Cherokee Street. 2626 Cherokee Street. So that opened up basically last night. People were up painting, cleaning it up. The national campaign staffers are there. They're setting up. And as of this morning, people are canvassing in Missouri, in St. Louis in particular, and then also in Kansas City. So every weekend from now until March 15th, go to that office. Get signed up. Canvass it. Who here went to Iowa? Anybody? Yeah. Woo! Yeah, okay. So keep your hands up, keep your hands up, keep your hands up. I want, if your hand is not up right now, talk to one of these people later. Ask them about canvassing. It's incredibly fun.
One time, ladies and gentlemen. And now we're going to have the candidate for the 2nd District in Missouri. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Bill Otto.
Hi folks, thanks for coming out. Let me tell you a brief description on the boundaries of the 2nd District. There's 8 districts in the state of Missouri, of course. We lost one in 2012. This district is South St. Louis County, held by Dick Gebhardt and Russ Carnahan for years. This is, it's also northeast Jefferson County and eastern St. Charles County and most of western St. Louis County. I'm a current state representative. I've been in the Missouri House for 4 years. I'm a retired air traffic controller. I'm a father, a grandfather, resident of this area for a long time, and I'm also a United States Navy veteran. One other thing you need to know about me is that I was an orphan. My mother died when I was 15 and I was put in a boys' home. I was a ward of the St. Louis County Juvenile Court System. So if anybody can tell you how it is to start from the bottom and move up, I can tell you right now it's me. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions here and I already know the answer. Do you guys believe that our veterans deserve better care than they're getting now? I know you answered this, but do you believe that we all have a right to health care? Is it time to hold the 1% accountable? We need to restore the middle class. We need to ensure that people don't think that their climate is changing, that we put people in office that can address these issues, that are there to stand up for what we all believe. And I know you're here to support Bernie. And I applaud that, I agree with it, it's 100%. But I will tell you right now, if we don't take back the House, Bernie is going to stagnate. We got to take back the House. There is one seat in the state of Missouri that can change. One seat, and that's the one I'm running in. This seat has been held by Democrats. The South St. Louis portion is heavily. In 2012, Koster took this seat by 4 points. Nixon took it by 6 points. Claire McCaskill, and this is parts of this is Todd Aiken's old district. I'll say that name softly. It is Todd Aiken's old district, and Claire beat him in this district by 10 points. We can win the 2nd district. If you put Bernie in, we put Bernie in, I'm right there. Let's win the House. Thanks so much.
Come on, ladies and gentlemen. And at this time, I would like to invite, running for United States Senate, ladies and gentlemen, Cori Bush.
Thank you, everybody, for having me. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Come on now. So, I came all the way from St. Louis to be here with you today, so you got to give me some energy back, because that 5 minutes was a long ride. So, yes, I'm standing here because I have the audacity to feel like I could run for the United States Senate in this country, America. This way because, first of all, I'm an American. Secondly, because the qualifications I fit. So, with that being said, I think that I can run. The other reason is because the status quo has been killing us, and I gotta come against it. And so we can't be afraid to go and stand and come against that status quo and to buck the system. We can't be afraid to stand up, and I think that's why we're in the place that we're in right now. So I'm standing here today as a candidate for the United States Senate to represent Missouri, endorsing Bernie Sanders for President of the United States. Endorsing him. I'm endorsing him because I'm a black woman. I'm endorsing him because, first of all, they say that as a black person I can endorse him. But for me, he's the one that stands for black and brown lives to me more than anyone else, first of all, with a genuine heart. If there was someone who speaks to the issues that affect me and my community more, who has been doing so, that it's not just because it's campaign season that's been standing on it, I would say that's Bernie Sanders, and so therefore I have to stand with him. Number 2, I'm a registered nurse, and I take care of clients every day who suffer from mental illness. These clients are homeless. We find them under bridges, we find them under cardboard boxes. This is their way of life. When I see these clients come in every day, they don't have health insurance. They've been blocked out of so many things. They don't have resources. I'm chasing them down the street trying to help them. And I do this every day just because I love it, just because I love the people. And I think that's something that we're missing in Congress. We're missing it in certain parts of our government, is a love for the people. And for me, I have a true love for the people. That's my first motivation. And I think that needs to be sent to the United States Senate as somebody that loves the people. And I feel like I have that with Bernie Sanders. And I'm not just speaking about certain people. I'm not speaking about people with privilege. I'm not speaking about people who have something, have an education, have the money to pay for health care. And me as a registered nurse, I pay $1,000 almost a month in health care for me and 2 children. I can't afford it myself. But it shouldn't just be that I love people because of what they have. I love the one outside on the street that has nothing. I love him just the same as I love anyone else. And so I feel like that's coming back to me. So because of those things, and the fact that I just can, because I can, I'm standing here endorsing Bernie Sanders, and I ask that you would look at everyone running, local, state, and federal, that have a true love for the people. Let's put people in that have a true love for people, and people that really have a heart to see the change. Let's look at them and let's put them in office. I'm Cori Bush, and I approve this message. Go to my website. like Jeb and George, but I'm not part of the family. And thank you again.